player will win. So we shall see. I did watch the H2O Nagayumi games, and I was watching the stream, and I think it was like 3-0 or something, was it? And I was like, okay, this is over. And
Yeah,
I and
and
I and
Nagayumi won like 4 in a row. No,
yeah,
3 in a row.
yeah, and it was like 3-0, and I was like, okay, this is over. Like, and I went to bed. And so the next day I woke up and I was like, I wonder, how the fourth game went, the fourth and the last game. And so I'm looking and I'm like, wait, Nagayumi won one game, two game, three game. I'm like, wow, like, and he just made a comeback, and but
Yeah.
H2O still won the series, so that's what counts. But that was a pretty exciting. I watched a few of those recorded games too, so that was pretty cool.
So it looks like we'll be having Russia versus Aztec. To be honest, I haven't ever seen Aztec do well in top level play. And I feel like it's got a lot to do with it's Portuguese versus Aztec. I feel like that's got a lot to do with Aztec is not that versatile.
There was a time though when Eagle Runners reigned supreme. That's the only time I remember Aztecs being really strong.
Yeah, the game was very imbalanced back then. Boneng is going Portuguese. This is actually quite interesting. Because Portuguese is not a good civilization. But Boneng does very well with them. Alright, and Garja decided to go Dutch. They keep changing civilizations around. I suppose I'll just wait until the game starts before I keep making more predictions.
Well, that's fun. It's like a live prediction. You can be wrong in 20 seconds. But anyway, guys, this will be the sixth game. The score is 1-4. I don't know if you can see the scoreboard, if it's too small or something like that. Hopefully you guys can put on your reading glasses and take a look. Anyway, it's 1-4. We're coming up with a sixth game here. Hopefully Garja can come out with a win here. I would like to see him win a few games in a row here, but Boneng's just dominating the last matchups that we've seen in this game. So I think it's going to be very hard for Garja to come out and beat Boneng. But at the same time, it's always hard to finish your opponent. You always you hear about sports, and it's always hard for a team to shut out the other opponent because there's so much pressure. And it's hard dealing with pressure, even on this level, even at these players are at their top level. It's hard to deal with the pressure and the nervousness that you might have in a game like this. And let me start the game so I'm not delaying the game anymore as I get carried away talking.
Yeah, you're right. It's really easy for Boneng to get comfortable and get a bit sloppy, but Boneng is a very strong and very reliable player, and I really don't feel like we'll have any of that. It looks like we are having German versus Portuguese, and there are some guys in the commentary saying that Garja wants to lose if he picks German in this matchup and on this map, and I would say that I've probably played close to 1,000 games as Portuguese when I reached my peak back in 2010, and I was ranked quite highly. I was playing exclusively Portuguese, and I can tell you now that Germany is better against Portuguese than Dutch is. It's quite difficult for Portugal, for Portugal to handle that early push of Ulans and skirmishers and war wagons. And Doppelsoldners are never, Mamelukes are never good against Germany because of Doppelsoldners and war wagons. Sorry.
Yeah, I was just commenting on the map layout here. Obviously, it looks to be a unique sort of map with two bodies of water on either side. Now, talk about strategies that people might have. Do you go both sides? Do you go one side? Do you let your opponent get one side, or what type of strategy do you just rush land? What's gonna happen here?
Well, I think the strong strategy for either, well, for Boneng, it'll be just sea boom and go industrial. For Garja, what he would really like to do is to consolidate a land position before he goes fortress. And by consolidated land position, I mean get a stable out, get some ulans out, put some towers on the docks. The one unfortunate thing about Yucatan is that although you have 2 bodies of water, given how thin it is, if you put outposts on the shore, it's very difficult to fight through that.
Yep, and sorry to interrupt you here, but the game was elected to restart because Garja said he had pretty poor hunts. So it looks like we're going to restart the game. Probably same matchup, same map. So same kind of strategies here, but we're just doing a restart.
Yep. Neuron89 did say the repatch. Didn't the repatch come in 2010? I think the repatch came in either end of 2009 or early 2010. But regardless, when I started playing Portuguese, it was under the current patch, which hasn't changed in 3 years. And I always found Germany to be one of the tougher European civs to face. Definitely, I always found Dutch quite easy. Dutch does have a problem against Cassador, Organ Gun, Mameluke composition. But Germany's got a very strong fortress age, and if he manages to prevent Boneng from really going hard on sea, I think he can really do well. And it's not too hard to do given the map.
All right, and here we go, launching this game again. So we'll see if both players are satisfied with what kind of hunts they have here.
The delay doesn't seem to be as bad as last time.
Oh well, that's a relief. All right. If anybody is new watching, or if you still watching from the first game, thanks for watching. Quick introduction. I'm 7up. My name, Chicks unfortunately gave me a name here, but you can call me 7up. I'm commentating. I'm from the Age of Mythology community. I commentate and cast expert 1v1 team game, whatever people want to see in that community, and I'm your camera guy here today for the finals. So this is an exciting event. It's been exciting so far. We've seen a lot of good games being played in this series here. Hopefully Garja can come out and win. With me today I have a well-renowned, is that correct? Age of 3 Empires player.
Well, most people know me, let's just put it that way. Unfortunately, when you play the game for the past 6 years, and the community is not that large, you kind of tend to get to know everyone.
Yeah, sure, and people seem to like you, so you're doing a good thing, I guess.
Yeah, with a name like Voodoo the Boss, I don't think you can go wrong.
Voodoo the Boss. Now, how did you get that?
That name when I was 12 years old.
Yes, as all good nicknames were born in the prime of our youth.
Yes, not my proudest moments. But,
well, it's stuck, and here you are today, and you've made a name for yourself. So that's
I'm just
pretty cool.
glad I didn't put a bunch of useless numbers at the end of my name. That was quite popular at the time of my username.
Yeah, I have some friends on the Age of Mythology community. We just try to come up with the dumbest Smurf names, and the top leading candidate I have so far is like Fire Truck 14. Something so stupid like that.
Yeah, there's been a lot of concern in the chat about how Garja will be able to fight this. And again, if Germany plays this game accurately, Germany has a very strong winning chance. But again, Boneng has proven to be very strong on sea, and Garja has not had the best record when it comes to adapting to fight on sea. So it'll be very close. Wasn't this the first matchup? Oh, sorry, not first. Wasn't this exact matchup played on Saguenay?
Um, I believe so. I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, and we did see Boneng win that one.
Yep.
But it is, I will add, it is a bit harder to defend on Yucatan, given the geography of the map. And it is also harder to really get a good C position because of how easy it is to put outposts and how much range the outposts have. Well, I mean, the outposts have the same range, but given how narrow the sea is.
Yeah.
7-Up, if you want to turn on the resources, that'd be nice.
Aw, guys,
Yeah, hit F1.
I'm acting a fool. You know, you gotta just remind me. Just be like, yo, 7-Up, get your stuff together, man. And I'll be like, yes. All right. So we have
I
we have
didn't even notice.
I was so into talking about the game. I'm having fun actually doing this. But now we got the resource counter out for you guys. It should be updating every 5 seconds, hopefully. And back to the game.
Yeah, absolutely. So again, not much happening, only 4 minutes in. It'll be really interesting to see how Garja decides to play this. But it does look like Boneng is going for his typical C-boom. I'm quite surprised though that Garja did decide to play Germany, because he did lose this first game. That must have been a little bit disconcerting for him. And there are a lot of very strong options for Garja to play. He could play Ottoman or Russian, all very strong against Port and all very strong on Yucatan.
Yep, and we do see 445 Colonial Age by Garja here. So pretty standard stuff it looks like.
Yep, very standard age up. And we also have Boneng aging up. And clearly with his town center positioning, he's looking for a strong sea boom. And
Yeah.
It doesn't look like he's really worrying too much about how spread out he is. He's really pushing that town center quite ahead. So it looks like he will probably like to play a bit more of a aggressive game, maybe fighting in Fortress rather than all the way in Industrial. But I suppose that all depends on how Garja decides to play it.
Yep, and we see Garja having this barracks up here. Quite forward it looks like.
Yep, and I think that's a smart move by Garja.
Oh, and Boneng, the 3 docks over here by Boneng.
Yeah, and putting your docks that far down is always a smart move, because you immediately can scout if your opponent tries to put a dock there. So this is actually a trademark that Boneng does a lot. It wasn't really my style, but Boneng has had a considerable amount of success with that.
Now, what do you think about the vulnerability? Aren't these docks more vulnerable to land attacks because they are farther on this side?
Yes, they are, but at the same time he can ship in caravels or build his own sea boats.
Yeah.
So I'm not too concerned with that. What I would be concerned with is if Garja did have a sea presence as well. But again, it'll be very hard for Garja to get a foothold on sea.
Yeah, and we see
while...
Sorry, go ahead.
Sorry. I was going to say it's very hard for Garja to get a sea presence without Boneng noticing that Garja is putting up an outpost, which is a very good position. Very, very good idea.
Yeah, so what Boneng could have done is he could have made a few units here on the water to prevent that outpost from going up, correct?
Yes, but that's not Boneng's style.
and Boneng, we see on the other side he has a dock as well. And no dock for Garja up yet.
That is correct. What Garja seems to be doing is just really harassing and but Boneng has got a good foothold on the sea. And it'll be very hard for Garja to knock him off. I hope Garja is going in Fortress Age. Otherwise, he better have something planned.
Yeah, he loses a lot of units up here to the sea and the land convergence here. And a bit unfortunate. He did get some raiding in, as he does have quite a few units here on the land. Some pike and Uhlans here. Taking down this
Yeah,
trading
absolutely.
post.
Gonna be, that's not good to lose so many crossbowmen so early, but the game is still young. I would, however, say that Garja's window of making an impact is closing. I feel that if Boneng can get to about 10 minute 30 or 11 minutes, and Garja hasn't pushed on C, then it's all over. And I feel like he's making a huge mistake as well, trying to invest his resources in trade posts. Trade post is just not any comparison to a water boom. Even with all 3 trade posts, so we can't get the 3rd one. It's only 12 villages, while Boneng is going to have 20, 30 villages on sea.
Yeah, so if you could recommend one thing for Garja to do right now with your game knowledge in this map, what would it be?
It's a bit difficult because it's almost a little bit too late for Garja to do a lot of things. He needs to age up right away, and he needs to push basically down the coast with falconets and skirmishers and some ulan. And if he ships maybe 1 frigate, then he can push down the coast. And he does that before Boneng ages up. He has a chance. But one mistake that a lot of players make on sea is that they try and push a little bit on land and they waste precious time. But it's not the best strategy. He should have either gone straight fortress or really tried to fight on sea. Port is not like Brit, when Brit has a very strong land economy. Although Portugal does have 2 town centres, it takes a really long time for the economy to start going. So I feel like Garja did pick the wrong strategy here. He should have either gone straight fortress or tried to push on sea, but he's done neither.
Yeah, and this is a huge. He does hit the fortress age though.
Fortress age though.
He has researched it right now, but this is a huge water economy of Boneng here.
Yep.
And no dock even.
Age. Yeah, even though he reached fortress age, again, I'm a little bit skeptical on his chances. I think he waited way too long.
Garja is building this forward town center. What do you think about this positioning here?
Well, I think it's a good idea that he is building a forward town center, because he does need to at least attempt to keep up economically. But his priority should be military. Portugal doesn't have the frigates yet. So it won't be too difficult to push along sea.
He is attempting to take out these docks and harass the fishing ships here with the pikemen.
Yeah, absolutely. If Garja can ship in a frigate, then I feel that'll really push Boneng onto a back foot and really force him to compete. One of the biggest, the worst things you can do to Boneng is just kind of chill out and let him boom. Hopefully we won't have that. I'm just going to restart my stream here for a second to make sure that there's no lag, so I'll be a bit blind.
Alright, sure, no problem. And Garja is throwing up another TC parallel to the forward one he had up on this location. It's securing this silver mine as well as this silver mine here. So he has somewhat of a map control in the land, but he is lacking in water economy. He needs to start thinking about pushing Boneng off the water eco. As he's trying to raid back here with some Uhlans. And Boneng does hit the fortress age.
Yep, and now there's almost like a little countdown for Boneng. Every second that Boneng, there's a countdown for Garja. Every second that Garja wastes is really bad for him. Boneng will be getting, exponentially stronger with every minute that goes by.
Okay, so at this point, what does Garja do to win this game? How does he win this game?
He needs to push militarily before Boneng can get a strong industrial or a strong fortress army. One of the good things about Yucatan is that, given the geography of the map, it's quite difficult to protect your land with your sea.
Yeah.
So it'll be very easy to push Boneng into the sea if you can get out some cannons from skirmishes.
Yeah, he does have quite a few skirmishes here, advancing on attacking this trading post yet again. He does get the explorer here.
Yep. What I would like to see is really Garja rushing the town center. But
another dock going up on this side for Boeing, and Garja here just attacking the trading post.
Can we have a look at the economies in the post game?
Yep, sure.
By the way, what we are seeing here is Garja is making a lot of skirmishes. He doesn't want to get bit like last game when a large amount of dragoons came in and really beat his skirmishes, but at the same time he doesn't have a lot of sieging capabilities.
Yeah, and on the left side of the water we see he shipped a frigate, so he's harassing Boeing off that water there. It's I like the decision to put it there as Boeing hits the industrial age. Let's just go back to the action here. Don't want to miss anything. Garja just massing up quite a big army here. He has the doppelganger. Their doppelganger. How do you Swadner?
Doppelsolner, yeah.
Yes.
It's quite surprising though that Garja's economy is actually a little bit stronger than Boneng's. But Boneng is an industrial age. And when he does get the range card for the Dragoons and upgrades for the Dragoons, even skirmishes don't stand up to it. It was when I was playing Portuguese, if I got to industrial age and I consolidated my position, like I lasted more than a minute or 2 minutes, it was basically guaranteed win. There's not many civilizations that can stand up to 20 ranged Dragoons in the 4th age. Even Japan struggles.
We see a dock finally going up on the left side of the water for Garja.
Yeah, a guy in the comments said Garja doesn't have a stronger economy. The resources counts with dead even. So whatever Garja seems to be doing is okay. Seems to be keeping up economically, but it'll be very difficult.
So Garja here, he's attacking the town center, but the dragoons out.
Absolutely. It's good that he's pushing that. What he should really do is pile everything into this push. If he can push Boneng off the land, it'll be almost a one game. Because the sea won't be enough to keep up with Garja if he doesn't have any land foothold. But Boneng does have a lot of dragoons, and it'll be very difficult even with the amount of skirmishes he has to keep up with that.
Yeah, these dragoons just cleaned up pretty nicely, and now they're attacking the units. But the town center does fall down. Garja manages to get that down, but the dragoons are eating up the units left and right. And Garja's looking to just retreat out of this location. He's taken out the town center. He's done his job. He needs to kill a few units, micro well, and come back and fight a little bit later, it looks like.
I think Garja might have caught the factory wagon out in the open. I'm not sure. I didn't notice.
Yeah, he was. He was moving in on it.
Yes, he sacrificed quite a few Ulan to get it as well.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's very good because a factory's worth, depending on what resource you choose, but a factory's worth about 10 villages. A bit less, but it's definitely a good trade-off for Garja. But however, we do have the Dragoons, we do have the heavy cannons. And this is when things are going to get a bit difficult for Garja. He's really going to have to hold tight. And this is also when Boneng's sea economy is really going to start kicking in. Garja made a big mistake of not of allowing him to push on to go on both sides of the sea, not just one. If he would have prevented him from landing on one side of the sea, it might have been a bit easier, but two sides, it'll be very difficult for Garja to hold this economically. And here we go with Boneng pushing out. Again, this is going to be really tricky for
It looks like it's all going to come up to this fight. As Ulans stream out of the town center, immediately attacking the heavy cannons, but their Ulans get picked off immediately, not even killing one of the cannons here, and the cannons are going to do a lot of work on these units because they're still left alive. The Ulans were microed down very, very well by Boneng here. But it looks like Garja is favored in this fight a little bit. Boneng's just going to have to retreat as when the cannons go down.
Yeah, I mean, it's good that Garja won the fight. He really needed to win this fight if he wanted to stand a chance, and if he would have lost, it would have been very difficult. But we'll see what Boneng does. Boneng's got such a strong economy that I think he can handle this fight. And in fact, I think he could even handle a bit of a fight deficit. It doesn't matter if he loses a bit more units than Garja, as long as he inflicts some losses. And Boneng's economy is really starting to peel away now. I'm quite surprised though that the tower that he built right at the start next to the docks aren't actually in range of any of the ships.
Yeah, it looks the tower looks really close to those ships there.
So does the upgrade for the tower increase the range?
No, doesn't.
No, just the attack damage.
We did see, however, Garja is building a trade post, which probably like a native trade post. So he's probably going to try and push with canoes on sea, but I just don't. I'm not sure if it's. Look, it's never too late. I shouldn't say that, but and he does have the land, so.
Yeah, Boneng
he's making a good decision.
Boneng's doing a lot of raiding with these dragoons here, killed a few villagers, and forcing the army of Garja to be on its back step, saying he needs his army to deal with these raids, and a lot of villagers gonna die here because the dragoons are just destroying a lot here. The slower units of Garja has a trouble keeping up with these shoot and scoot type of raid.
Yeah, and in the raiding is when Boneng's micro really starts to shine. He'll run in, and he'll pick off exactly 2 or exactly 3 villagers. He doesn't, and runs out. He doesn't waste any time. He doesn't waste any shots. This is Boneng's territory. He's really going to shine in this type of scenario. And this is what I meant by when I felt it's a bit too late for Garja to start pushing on sea, because he's going to spend all his time and all his resources chasing around these dragoons.
Yep.
While Boneng gets stronger.
Yeah, and a lot of villagers are going to get trapped and are dying, and the slower units just have no chance against these dragoons. What does the German player make to counter these here? To counter their speed and their raiding abilities?
The problem with the dragoons is that there's a card that you can get that gives them 20 range. So they're very long-ranged. This was fixed in the last patch, in the fan patch. But the biggest problem with the dragoons is that their range is so high. Normally skirmishers are very strong against dragoons, but the fact that dragoons have such a strong range means that they just pop a shot and run off. And it's very difficult to actually get some shots off of them.
Yep, and
Boneng is. Sorry, you go.
I'm sorry, but Garja resigned. So
Yeah.
go ahead with your thought. Sorry to interrupt.
Well, it's over anyway. But
The range
yeah,
though, there's pretty overpowered.
It is overpowered, and that's what I meant by when I was saying, as a port player, if I got to industrial, it was all over. There was nothing they could do, and I knew that because I know you can just run around with dragoons, and they not only do they have the speed, they have the range, but they beat everything. You really have to go pure skirmisher, but if you go pure skirmisher, you can't keep up with him. He's running around, you can't keep up with infantry. And people are asking, is it over? It's not over there. It's the first to 6.
The first to 6. That's right.
Game,
that's right. The best. It's a best of 11 here. So it's not over. Garja can still win the finals here and the series. He just needs to win 5 straight games. Can it happen, guys? Can it happen?
Can it happen? Well, we did see Nagayuni win 3 in a row against H2O.
Yeah, that was pretty impressive play. What was the next map that's gonna be played here?
Can somebody in the chat confirm for us what the next map is? I'm not entirely sure. I think it. Let me think. You can. I think it's Painted Desert. And Painted Desert is a very land-based map. A lot of hunts. Really good for booming civilizations like Brit or France. Or, hell, even Aztec. And yeah, I just got confirmation in the chat that it is Painted Desert.
Alright.
Musket asked, why didn't Garja go Brit versus Port? It's a good question. Brit is very good against Port, especially on a sea map. But again, Garja doesn't seem to be a very sea-orientated player. He seems to have a lot more confidence on land maps.
Alright guys, so this could be the last game. Boeing only needs one more game to seal this series and win the whole tournament here. So this is pretty exciting. This could be the last game. Garja can still win. It is a best of 11, the first to 6. So we'll have to see what the matchup is in the next game, and the map will be Painted Desert. It looks like Boneng has greened up with British. Garja.
Yep, if we do see a Brit versus German game, then oh look, sorry, Brit versus France. Brit versus France is a very interesting matchup. This is a matchup we've seen a really lot in the upper echelons of play. Traditional wisdom says that France does very well in this matchup, but we have seen lately a bit of a backlash against that thinking. We have had guys like Tombo come out and show that, hey, if you're Brit, you can win against France. But I guess what we'll see here is probably a double crossbow rush, and Boneng will probably defend with musketeers or longbowmen. It'll be a really interesting game. This is always a very close matchup.
So here we are. This could be the last game here. Spawning in the bottom of the map, we have Boneng in the blue color. playing as the British at the top of the map. We have his opponent, of course, Garja in this series, playing as the red color. He is French. The map is Painted Desert.
Yep, absolutely. And this is, again, always a really exciting game. Map is balanced, Painted Desert usually is. It's a very high amount of hunts. It'll be I'm really curious to see how both players play this map. It's really versatile. You don't have to choose a single build order. But I do feel, however, that the game will be dictated by Garja. France usually has the initiative in this matchup, and Brit is usually the defending in this matchup. I have seen very rare games where a Brit player manages to rush a French player, catch him off guard, but it's very rare, it's very risky. And although Boneng is a very intuitive player, I don't feel like he'd take that kind of risk. Yeah, a lot of guys in the chat are predicting that Garja will go crossbowman. One of the standard options against Brit, either that or a semi-fast fortress. But a lot of the top players have a preference toward crossbow pike, because Brit is a little bit slow to start up. A little bit slow, but if you play accurately as British, you can definitely hold your own. Garja, however, is quite strong with France. He did actually beat H2O in a French mirror. And although Boneng is very strong with Brit, I feel like he's more used to playing on land. So if Garja does come back, well, I suppose this is his only chance.
This could be the last game here. He has to win this game.
Yeah, he really does, and this is the best chance, I think, in the last 4 games. This matchup is his best chance of winning. When it comes to the map itself, though, I do feel that Boneng has a bit of an advantage. He does have those cliffs, in a sense, spaced out nicely in front of his base, and it makes it a lot easier to wall up, a lot easier to defend, and given the bisons, he doesn't need to push out of his base very early. But if Garja is smart, he could go for a semi-fast fortress and push early with skirmishes and cannon and, dragoons, and that's very hard for Brit to deal with. Very, very hard. A lot of guys are pointing this out in the chat, and I do agree with them that Garja should not try and get sucked into an infantry war. He should either mix in cavalry early or go fortress, because Brit is very strong infantry civ.
So pretty standard stuff so far. Nothing indicating that we're gonna see some kind of crazy strategy.
Yeah, Boneng is aging up. Not something I would have expected to see in the finals of the probably biggest 1v1 TAD tournament. But nothing in particular. All on wood right after age up, market going up for Boneng. Really standard stuff. Garja, on the other hand,
advances through the classical age at 335 here, or colonial age, sorry. And Boneng right behind him, about 10 seconds behind.
Yep, so again we're seeing just very
2 barracks by Garja up here.
Yep, and Garja will be going for a standard double crossbow rush.
And nice wall here, preventing locations from being raided, as well as defending your base here. He does have this outpost and a barracks being built, as it does get completed right there for Boneng.
Yep, and Boneng is really going defensive on this. And if Garja plays accurately, I still think that France has the initiative in this matchup. Because all he needs to do is pull back, ship 4 villages, harass, and age up, and Boneng will be confined to this little area. But again, at the same time, I think Boneng did the right thing. This is a matchup that is a little bit skewed towards France. But if Garja makes a mistake, which is possible, Boneng is not forgiving. He'll bounce on that, as he has in every other match, and really take advantage.
So some crossbowmen coming in here for raiding, trying to see, okay, where are you villagers? Where can I kill a few villagers and get an early advantage? So just scouting the map here and looking to kill some villagers. The longbowmen out for Boneng here, preventing. But now a lot of crossbowmen out for Garja here.
Yep, absolutely. But the longbowmen with the range do give Boneng the advantage when it comes to defensive. But if Garja can continue to pressure, keep Boneng off of huts, he can definitely swing.
Yeah, and Garja did snipe a Vil, but he's losing quite a few crossbowmen. I'm not sure if that trade was worth it on his way out of this location.
Yes, he did lose a few crossbowmen, but Boneng did still need to spend 300 resources on those Minutemen.
Yeah.
So it's not... And the difference between this matchup and the Aztec matchup is that Garja does have the economy to back it up, and I'm sure that if you go through the post game, Garja's economy is right now stronger than Boneng's, because Boneng just doesn't have the map control to really boom out.
So far it looks like Garja's playing this matchup pretty well.
Yeah, absolutely. Garja's playing the safe defensive strategy. If he can keep Boneng confined, mixed in some Huss, then he might have a chance. But at this point in time, he's making a mistake. He keeps getting too close to the walls, he keeps losing a lot of crossbowmen. He needs to wait until he has some missiles before he tries to push. Boneng is making a really good use of the wall and the gate. And walls have really become a common feature in the way the game is played compared to how it was a few years ago. A few years ago, you wouldn't see walls. And now, especially with some players, every game there's a wall.
Yeah, well, it's so important to have the wall, just because you can take advantage of the unit pathing around the walls and to get into strategic locations. It's easier to run away from your opponent, and it's easier to have a tactical position against your opponent if you have walls providing choke points or buildings that you can really gain an advantage.
Yep. I will probably give the advantage to Garja right now at the moment. Garja's got the stronger economy, he's got the stronger mass. As long as he just needs to mix in some hussars. I'm not sure why he keeps making crossbowmen, but if he just makes in some hussars, it'll be easy win for him.
As Boneng moves out and tries doing a counter raid here, scouting a little bit of the production possibilities of Garja, seeing what he's making, seeing what he's doing.
Yep, and again, because Garja has no cavalry, he can do this. He should have mixed in cavalry 2 minutes ago. But again, Boneng does need to be careful, because he has no anti-cav. And if he gets caught out in the open, and he loses his army, he won't be able to replace it as fast as Garja. Garja does have, it's like about twice the amount of crossbowmen as Boneng. And this battle here looks to be quite big. Boneng will really have to fight this army off if he wants to have any resemblance of a map control. If at this point in time, as long as Garja keeps up this pressure, Boneng is just going to spend half of his time idle, or his villagers not gathering anything, and France's economy will overtake him very quickly.
Yeah, Garja doing very well with the micro there, and that's not the big story. The big story is all these idle villagers not gathering resources. Now you might say, okay, he lost his whole army, but he definitely prevented a lot of resources to be gathered, in which case his economy will be much stronger in order to replace the units that he lost.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, Garja's economy is quite strong, and even though he just lost his army, if you look at the population counts, they're the same. Well, not about the same. Garja a little bit ahead. But Boneng is throwing up that extra barracks. And remember also that for every villager France has, it's much stronger than every villager Brit has. And France has map control. So Brit really needs like a 10 villager advantage if he wants to keep up. And Boneng does not have that 10 villager advantage. Can we go through the post game and have a look at villages and resources?
Sure thing. Yeah, it looks for the post game from what I'm seeing so far. Just a quick glance, Garja is way ahead in economy here. Let's look at the villager count. It's about the same, only one villager difference here.
Yeah, absolutely. It's what I suspected. The economic advantage that Garja has is really powerful. And again, Boneng really is I'm not sure what he can do. It's a very difficult position for Boneng to be in. Brit, although it's a very solid, very strong civilization, they're not very... You can't exactly pull victories out of your hat with Brit. It's a very slow civilization. Garja mixing in the Hussars was a very good idea. But Boneng's defensive position is quite good. And he finally has safe access to hunts, which is something he's wanted. What I would like to see though is Garja aging up, because having London behind the wall is just never a fun sight to work with. Just the superior range will just always be supreme, but Garja's mass is quite nice, and it looks like this battle will be if it goes through, it'll be a bit decisive. But the Hussars did pop out for Boneng, and that will really put a damper on Garja's attempts to end this game. But
yeah, that tactical timing for that really, and the location that they popped out was prime to kind of confuse Garja, to make Garja unsure if he was going to win the fight decisively or not. But as we see, Garja is just flooding units in now, and he's using his economy as Boneng's fighting with villagers here. He's using his economy as an advantage, as the game is lagging a lot right now. Looks like the game froze here for some reason.
Well, either way, I don't think Boneng can win now. The damage to his economy was too great. mean, at this point in time, it doesn't even matter if Garja loses his entire army. His economy is just so powerful.
Well, it appears that someone is actually dropping here.
It is Garja dropping. I'm not sure why he's dropping when he's winning, but it's just not his day today. Well, I guess that's it. Unfortunately, if you drop out, you lose the game.
They won't have any type of save or a redo or anything like that?
Look, you might have to double check with Chicks, but I'm fairly certain that if you drop out, you don't get the win.
Well, it's a little bit
Which
of
is a shame.
unfortunate of an ending here. It appears that Garja has just completely dropped out of the game. He was pressing a very nice advantage in this game, and I think that this game favored him, and he was going to win this game. Now he is down 1-5. If he had won this game, possibly 2-5. So it would have been a mountain for him to climb. But people, we don't like to deal with ifs and ands and if that and that. So unfortunately, he drops, and I'm not sure about the exact rulings here, but we'll find out.
Yeah. We'll probably Shmras will probably make the decision. I'm not sure yet. I mean, it's an admin decision, and I'm fairly certain that it will go towards a reader. Yeah, Garja's economy was just very strong. Really, really strong. Is Chicks back from wherever he went?
Yeah, it looks like he's in the chat commentating. So it looks like he's back.
Oh well, apparently Garja said I give him the win, so Garja doesn't want to play again. Sorry, I guess that's it then. All right, guys. So I guess that's it. We have a winner, Boneng.
All right, guys. So it looks like that's gonna be it for these players. It looks like the finals have concluded, and the score is 1-6. Boneng is victorious and wins the final. Unfortunately, maybe it wasn't Garja's day, etc., etc., but both players came out to play today, and Boneng was victorious. So congratulations to him, and thanks
Absolutely.
to all the viewers who were watching.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for everyone who watched the games and
Yeah.
commentated and helped out on the PK forums. It was really, I think, despite the hiccup we had, the tournament was a good success.
Yeah, and thanks a lot to Voodoo. I couldn't have done it without you. We were a big help in this game, providing a lot of insightful comments to the stream. So thanks a bunch for that. And I hope you being here was able to cancel out my newbiness that people had to put up with.
You did
But
good for a guy. You did good for a guy who doesn't play Age of Empires 3. So.
well, you know what? I try to make it happen for all the viewers out